You are watching Sound Candy Talk. Watch, share, like, subscribe.
Sisi vile sio watu ambao wanataka ugomvi kwa sababu ya ugomvi.
Niwaambia nyinyi ni wajinga mkimfuata Ruto. Mkadhani tunawadanganya.
Jeti ya Ruto. Hii maisha ya Ruto ni stress na ni stress.
Mungu wewe umetukosea.
Sasa tumesema siku ya Jumatano. Uko tayari? Uko tayari? Tumesema sisi si majambazi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad you're watching. Thank you so much for making time to join us. This is Sound Candid Talk. We are having a one-on-one conversation with Eric Ayaga as we look at the latest happenings in the recent days in our country and outside this country, and what we can make out of the same in terms of getting proper understanding. I also acknowledge that the feed for the impeachment motion for the Meru governor is still on, and therefore, those of you who are not aware that we are here, please alert them that we're here and we are ready to engage again as we look keenly into all these things. We call upon you, please, to invite somebody, remind somebody. Let's have a great time this evening, even as we dive into this. We'll also be looking at the coming State of Nation address by Ruto, and in the backdrop of his, I would say, insensitive response to the plea of members of parliament associated with Kenya Kwanza when they were State House pleading with him to address the cost of living, and he seemed not to budge or listen to any of those pleas. He says whatever that is happening with the cost of living is absolutely and completely out of his control. Is that true? We will ask Bishop Maura to help us into whether that is true or God is a liar and Jesus is also a liar. All in all, karibu sana, naomba karibishe mtu, kukumbusha mtu kwamba tuko hapa na tuko tayari kuangalia masuala haya kwa kina. Karibu kila mmoja, hakikisha kwamba hautazami kipindi peke yako. Tuko tayari kuangazia masuala haya kwa kina, polepole, ili uelewe na tuelimishane. Asante. Bwana Yaga, vipi huko?
Huku iko poa, ni mvua tu kidogo kidogo hapa na pale.
Wewe ni msafiri kama Zakayo. Sasa uko sehemu gani?
Niko Kitale town.
Oh, good. So, mvua inasaidia mahindi ama inaharibu mahindi?
Sasa inaharibu mahindi. Unajua sometimes mostly watu wana harvest, so inaharibu mahindi. Kwa kiwango kingine inaharibu sana, na tena maragwe zile watu walipanda mapema kidogo, late in the year. Yeah.
Okay, so watu wamevuna ama bado iko kwa shamba? What will be the effect?
Watu washavuna, lakini kuna wale bado watu waliweka za dakika za mwisho ndio wanatoa saa hii.
Okay. Sawa. So karibu kwa show, tupatie updates. Hii mambo inaendaje? Mfalme akakuja, alileta baraka ama alileta laana? Hiyo utatuambia. Israel Hamas war inaonekana ni kama ndio savior ya William Ruto. Amesema mafuta haiwezi kushuka kwa sababu kuna Hamas Israel war. So
hiyo ilikuwa lazima ikuwe excuse. hiyo lazima ingekuwa excuse because I think the last time I was here ndio neti nikate, nilikuwa naongelelea about the excuse, and I think Kenya Kwanza walizima maandamano mapema because they are planless. Unajua, at least wangeacha Raila aendelee, sahii wangekuwa wanasema tungefanya kazi, lakini unaona hii maandamano they could have a very good grounds. Bernard, I am not a prophet, but they always says that when your enemies are quiet, it is a recipe for disaster. Even the devil himself is very scared when you are quiet. When you pray in silence, you don't make noise, you don't tell anybody your problem, you just quiet. Even the devil scares that. So I think the silence of the Raila side or the Azimio side and the silence of Uhuru Kenyatta has thrown these people into political disarray. They have nowhere to hang on. They have no one to blame. They have nowhere to cling on. Now it is hard time that they face reality. Salia Mudavadi told them long time ago, the time of blame is over. Media reminded them that their honeymoon is over, but they think it was a joke. What will happen in this country by June next year is planned today. So if you have a poor planning today, don't expect that in the next 6 months things will be better. So all these things you are seeing were planned around early this year, around March, when they are thoroughly dealing with brutally dealing with the Protestants. And that is what Raila wants, to waste their time, and when the time comes he will go quiet, so that these people can enter in the hole that they have dug for themselves. By January, before June, they were still blaming that they took over power in September, and the budget the budget they were using was the last budget of Uhuru Kenyatta. Now it is their budget from last June that is it's now coming up, and there is no betterment of change and nothing else. So it's gonna be hard for them for a little bit sometimes, because it is lack of planness. And I wonder why. I wonder how. Because for you to run for president, I think not a MCA, because I can call these people, mostly William Ruto, is as a hearsay. I hearsay president. Maybe he went somewhere and he heard people are talking about bottom up, then he pick it up without even doing a research on it, and then start propagating. So it is just a hearsay. If you ask him, because even his supporters were talking about bottom up, and Biden talked about it. There is no model called the bottom up. The model that Biden was talking about was a bottom up, middle out. Bottom up, middle out. That was the real model that Biden was. But I think this guy is a hearsay man. Ni yale watu wanaendaga kwa koti, nilisikia. Sina habari, lakini nilisikia tu jumbe. So akaja hapa Kenya na nilisikia. Mimi nilienda nje pengine, ama he was watching international news somewhere, then he just had a bottom up, then he come up with bottom up, and akaanza kuendeleza, then he duped his people into a belief that that bottom up can work in Africa. I remember asking people, even in our previous streams, tell me one country that has survived and worked through that model. of bottom up. None was there, but they just believe Ruto was genius. He's a genius. When you're a genius, nobody believe you, nobody accuse you. So we relaxed. So that genius is in him. And even they call him Odin, the Odin of Kenyan politics, that anajua kupanga maneno. That name disappeared from nowhere, but that is not my worry. My worry is where they got that model. They never gave us example of model. I remember Alice Waomi, they were struggling even to explain that what model is. What little did they know that this guy is a hearsayer. Maybe he had it somewhere. He never went deep into it. He just popped up with it. But because people loved him and he took that advantage. And I want to tell Kenyans, just take, whoever will hurt you is the person who loves you. I have never said, and my enemy hurts me. It is only the person who loves you, either your wife or your husband. So they loved William Ruto, and now they have to take that serious. Ruto is hurting them. He's a hearsay. He was a man on a rampage, a man on a mission, and the mission is revealed. His mission was to succeed. Through crook, through bad ways, through lies, he has succeeded. And that's life. Let us begin again.
Okay, Vanayak, you're saying, what beats my understanding is even if you picked something that wasn't yours, how long does it take you to turn it around and make it look like it's yours? A whole year is a long time.
I have a lot
Huh?
of examples,
Yes.
but some are not fit for some are not fit for international media outlet. In my mother tongue, they say that when you are going for somebody else's wife, it's very easy to manage because you only enjoy that wife. Then he goes and program everything from home. The day the husband will send him her and then say, now let us now have the lady, is when you will know that things are a little bit different in the real life. Now, again, we always say in my mother tongue, where I come from, that the cow that you are given, you milk too much. Even your cow, you cannot milk your cow that way. So he got the opportunity when Kenya was, not even Kenya, world was going on a turbulence. Corona was a big animal that caught the President Kenyatta at the first early stages of his second term. So when that turbulence came, a lot of things, in fact, world economic went under a recession. Even we still have recession up to date. China is under recession. They just don't want to talk about it. UK, even US, things are not normal. Then immediately after that, when Corona just subsides, then came a war in Ukraine and Russia. And this guy took advantage of it. Up to today, they still don't want to admit that it was wrong to accuse that president of handling a situation that is not even his problem. They still believe they were right and he was wrong. And the moment they say he was right, they will lose that publicity. So wako kwa shida, hapa kuna shida. So it is only they don't want to accept that we made a mistake and it was politics. The way Ole Sapit have told them, it was politics. Accept some things can't work. I'm a pastor. I'm telling you for free. It is true. Hiyo ilikuwa siasa, but these people, they don't want to believe they were playing politics. And in propaganda, Propaganda never lasts. Propaganda take a very short time. Very short time. If they think they will thrive in brainwashing Kenya for very long time, revolution eats its own people. Governments eats its own people. And it is time that the Orengo prophecy was not about Murkomen and the rest and the Kihikas of this world. The Orengo's prophecy is here with us that this administration is going to very soon turn against the people who voted for it more than those who never voted for it.
All right, and it is not going to turn. It has already turned against. If the Kenya Kwanza members of parliament pleaded with Ruto to address the cost of living and he stands up and said there is nothing he can do, that means, and the reason they were talking is because the ground has become hostile. They can't go to the village anymore, and thinks the ground is not pro Kenya Kwanza anymore. Is not William Ruto trying to bury his head in the sand and play the ostrich game? And when he does that, how long will he survive? Because from the look of things, the ground, the center is not holding.
Yes, now we are in the real. If you read the book of Chenua Achebe, things fall apart. Chenua Achebe started by saying that now that the center cannot hold, and it is obvious that the things are now falling apart in Omofia village. So I think the best thing, because Kenyans are very patient. Kenya is a very patient nation. As much as what we go through here and there, Kenya is a very patient nation, and people should not take our patience as our mistake. Sometimes it is good to be a patient because Kenya is a religious nation. As much as we embrace Islamism, Christianism, and others, Hinduism, and others, and even we have traditional, we still face Mount Kenya. You can see our elders facing Mount Kenya. You can see our elders are from the lake facing the lake, and others from the western, like where I am now, facing the crying stone. We are a religious nation, and that I think contributed to our patience. But when you are patient, it is not a mistake. I think it is high time the government accept that the problems we are facing today was not created by anybody, not Uhuru Kenyatta, not Raila Odinga, not handshake, but it is nature. After Corona, things went haywire. Maybe Uhuru made a mistake because Corona was new to everybody. Even a kid who was born in 2020, the same way Corona shocked him or her is the same way Corona shocked Uhuru who was born in 1960s. Is the same way Corona shocked maybe my grandmother who was born in 1912. Yeah. So it was a new thing and everybody was going a very tough time. If you look at that duration, Israel made about 4-5 elections. In UK, they had to change prime ministers like 5 times. They had 5 prime ministers. Why? Because things were not working elsewhere, not only at home, but everywhere. But our politicians from Kenya Kwanza took it as if it is the management of our government that is causing it to Kenyans. So it is high time. Let them. I hope that tomorrow address will be, I, as a president, I want to be truthful in the name of God, because Bible says that when you confess, you be forgiven. Yeah. I, as a
But
human being,
Nayaga, your camera is delaying. If you could put it off, tutaflo vizuri.
okay, but sauti iko sawa.
Sauti iko sawa.
Okay, so we can say that when he can tomorrow say that for for God's sake, for truth's sake, I was looking for a lady. I got a way of seducing this girl. Now I have this girl. But now the reality changes. The truth is, this was the situation then. My predecessor took these measures. I thought if I took this direction, it will work differently. But on realization, things are different. So kindly, I am going back to my predecessor ways of thinking, looking for the people who advised him on such way, so that because we are Kenyans and we are working for the betterment of Kenyans, and nobody will be a Ugandan after the end of the day, let us do A, B, C, D. Number one, fuel subsidy must be introduced if you want to survive. If you want to survive, fuel subsidy lazima irudishwe. Failure to which we will see a lot of trouble. Government to government. You see, Uganda is withdrawing from a fuel deal with Kenya because they are making life hard in Uganda when it should not be. The life in Uganda should not be hard because Kenyans have a deal with the IMF bank that they want to do their things to reorganize their house so that can make Uganda suffer. That's why Msavi is leaving. And not only that is the reality because Museveni left us long time ago. We have never had a function at home like when we were hosting sijui what in green energy, something like that happened in Nairobi. Our immediate neighbor, the president of Uganda, was not there. Leave alone him being the president of Uganda. Museveni is now a senior most president in Uganda. His absence speaks volume, tells you that your policy is not working. And this policy is actually interfering with this rule in Uganda. So the best way we'll do is leave it because fuels in Tanzania is reducing. Is about 154. In Kenya, somebody is telling you is heading to 300. And these are the guys who told us how somebody is about economics, sijui nguru, sijui nini. I hope that tomorrow's address, the reality will prevail and this guy will take a very good line. In fact, he will atapata support, by the way, when you are dealing with Kenya. But the gerrymandering they are doing, I think it is not safe for them.
Okay, one moment. The reality will check which reality because in my opinion, it's too late for Ruto to do anything to make a difference,
It
except
is not too late. There is
except
nothing late.
it is too late in the sense that there is nothing he does now that will make Kenyans change their attitude toward him because every Kenyan now feels he duped them, he lied to them, and he doesn't care. Now that is a very precarious position. What is he going to do to change that understanding from Kenyans? Will Kenyans believe him ever again? Do we have any person in history who did that and still people voted for him? You could help us. Ayaga is still there. Okay, it appears Ayaga has some technical hiccup. He cuts all the same. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining into the conversation from wherever you are. Please make sure you are inviting somebody and then subscribing to Sound Candid Talk Live. I've given you the link. I want you to be on the forefront of ensuring that you don't miss up on anything. Sound Candid Talk Live is our backup channel, and we want you to be there as well as you are following on Sound Candid Talk. Thank you so much. And those of you who are still following the proceedings at the Senate, you are still okay to do the same. We are anxious to find the outcome of the same. But we are looking at the king's visit, Israel, Hamas war, and the coming State of Nation address by Ruto. What should we anticipate? What should we put in What should he put in consideration when he's addressing Kenyans in the current backdrop of high cost of living and the threatening statements of the fuel will not drop any soon. In some matter of fact, according to Chirchir, it will rise. And so, in view of all this, what should Kenyans anticipate and expect? What should William Ruto say that will make Kenyans feel better about his administration in view of what is going on in the in the lives of Kenyans by reason of his unpopular and I would say insensitive policies? Well, as we look at this, there are some things I want us to view for Ayaga to resume. Okay, there are a lot of things. Okay, here we go. What Kenyans are saying about the crisis in the country and how we need to respond to the same. I just want to sample some of the statements people who are expressing themselves about what is going on in the country and we can help the situation or cope with the situation in the pretext of the situation in the country right now. Okay, let me bring in the overlay as I wait for Ayaga to return and we continue the conversation. Let's look at this. And it's free for you to give your views too. I just want to have you look at the way Kenyans are looking at the whole thing and what should be. Let's start from maybe a spiritual angle. Okay. Spiritual angle. Here we go. Okay, this is a Kenyan expressing himself and is quoting from 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 18. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 18. He said, when that time comes, you will complain bitterly because of your king, whom you yourselves chose, but the Lord will not listen to your complaints. That's Good News Bible. It says that this is the warning that Samuel was giving to Israel when they demanded that they want a king so that they look like other nations. And then he told them a time will come when you will complain bitterly because of your king, whom you yourselves chose, but the Lord would not listen to your complaint. Choices have consequences, and I believe we may be just in the middle of those consequences. And then, of course, there is an altercation between the tourist ministry and the other one. We'll be looking at that later. Let's look at this one. You have had Chirichir and the CS for Energy talking about the Hamas and Israel war. So this particular Kenyan has spoken out. It's called Ndunya Rekol. Okay, Rekol. It says, it is not Hamas, neither Netanyahu of Israel. It is finance bill he passed introducing 16%. That is 12 shillings more from 8%. Every increase of for every increase of 1 shilling by April, it should be within your knowledge that Ruto is illegally scooping 12 shillings from your pocket. And look at that. They say the situation in the country about the fuel pricing is not the Hamas Israel war. It is not Netanyahu of Israel. It is the finance bill, the unpopular finance bill that was forced down the throat of Kenyans. Is the what we are suffering is the result of the same. So let nobody deceive you that it is the Russian Ukraine war or Hamas Israel war. It is the finance bill. Although William Ruto will not let you think in that direction, he would not want you to have any of that line of thinking because it sells him out for having given wrong information. Then on this one, I see Ayaga is back. Let's just look at this and then we get back into the conversation. Now, hawa ni Wakenya too. They're expressing themselves about what's going on. Okay, hapa ni Mkenya mwingine ndio huyo anasema hivi. Okay, a very honest question. Wewe ukiangalia hivi kwa kipole na kwa makini, unaona kama Ruto anajua kitu anafanya? Watu watule wafanye nini? I can't pronounce that all the same. Now I wanted to look at that. Okay, my dreams for Kenya, and look at the picture. And then, by the way, the author of this is called Kipneno Kalejinga. I don't know if that is his really name, but that's how he expresses. So it's a very honest question. We ukiangalia hivi kwa upole na kwa makini, unaona kama Ruto anajua kitu anafanya? Labda hiyo ndio ingekuwa poll question, ukajibu na wewe ukaseme mambo jinsi yalivyo. Haya, nashukuru kila mmoja. Naomba tafadhali, mahala pote ulipo, jumuika nasi, karibisha wawili watatu, tumakinike pamoja tunapoangazia masuala haya so that we can work out. Mware CK anasema he's looking for 2027 campaign funds. Okay. Paul Ekasi anasema no one will ever trust Ruto, his government and his government. This government is total waste to Kenyans. Haya, maoni ya Wakenya hayo. Nashukuru kila moja. Tafadhali tuendelee kukaribishana na makinika, like the video, comment on the same and share the link so that many people can join and participate. Wanayaga, karibu. Unmute.
Yes, I'm back.
You're still mute.
You can hear me?
You're back. You're back now.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
So I want you to respond to that statement. I don't know if you got it. This overlay, let's start systematically. We started, let's forget about the King Saul one. This one, it is not Hamas, neither Netanyahu of Israel. It is the finance bill passed through a 16 VAT, that is 12 shillings more from 8%. Every increase of 1 shillings by April, it should be within your knowledge that Ruto is illegally scooping 12 shillings from your pocket. It is not the Hamas, Israel, or the Netanyahu issue, is the finance bill. What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's very true because crisis will never end. If you can't lie to anybody today that if that war in Ukraine ends abruptly, they sign a peace deal because end of war is agreement. If Putin agree with Celestine, or if Netanyahu agree with the Hamas leaders and then end the war today, by tomorrow in the evening, the fuel price will go down. It is the management of the country. And you can't tell me that all these wars are only affecting Kenya in all of Africa. Yeah, they are not affecting Tanzania. They are not affecting Burundi. It is not affecting Rwanda. It is not affecting Somalia, our neighbors, Ethiopia, Sudan, South Sudan, and Uganda. So it is the management in Kenya. The problem of Kenya is not all these crises. These are man-made crises. It is not about us. The problem we have is the poor management of economy. That is our problem. And that is what we are told people long time ago. When somebody came up with a unfamiliar thing, something that they are not even sure of if it will work, it can't work, they don't know it. Even the people who are singing bottom up, even if today you ask them what is bottom up, they don't know. Hawajui. Hawajui ni nini. So the problem is poor management. The problem is not those Ukraine and Hamas and Israel things.
So, Bwanayaga, why would William Ruto and team be dragging in Russia, dragging in Israel? Is it that they like this caption, like this caption says here, by Bwana Kibuneno Kalejinga, he says, a very honest question. We ukiangalia hivi kwa upole na kwa makini, unaona kama Ruto anajua kitu anafanya. So this dragging in of either Israel, Russia, the cost of crude oil, is it because they don't know what they are doing, or it is their deliberate choice of looting without, depriving Kenyans of what is rightfully theirs, and then of course finding an easy way to blame someone else? And I want also to weigh. I want you to weigh on this, even on the comment section. We want to know exactly what's happening. Why is it that the Ruto administration are quick in blaming someone else? Remember, their campaign was the handshake. Their campaign was Uhuru Kenyatta doesn't know what he's doing, and everything they were doing is find somebody to blame. Is this their style of leadership, or it is just a quick, escape code of what they need to address? Why is it so easy for William Ruto and team to blame other than own up and take responsibility and fix the situation? Ayaga, I hope you're back now. Unmute.
Okay, thank you. It is time for responsibility, nothing else. If you're a leader, you have to be. You have to be one. You cannot blame people. You can hear me? You cannot blame people forever. You can't. It can't work. It will never work. Nothing will change. That's why there is politics. I love what the quote of the Ghanaian vice president. He said that you cannot do you cannot do economy with the PR, with the propaganda. The exchange rate will expose you. And that one he said in Ghana, like before even we went to election, people never take it serious. You cannot. You can do politics with propaganda, but not economy. Those are two things. Economy and propaganda. Economy and politics are two things. These things that the president is trying to manage for now are are politics and economy. He thought he was that much smart, smarter than everybody, that he can mix the two at once. He can pick politics, he can mix politics with propaganda, with the economy, and mix them together and push the agenda forward. And I think it has come to a realization, and a realization of people who foolishly, I'm even very worried that the MPs went to confront president. I see a very big headlines that they read riots, they are now demanding. That tells you how silly. That is the word I can use. That's silly because it is very hard. Now, where is the difference between our leaders? We call the MPs of Kenya Kwanza, I'm told is over 200 members of parliament were in State House yesterday, and the people who went to Shakahola and died. Because even if you are a religious leader today, if you tell me something, I will have to question you. Why? How is this thing going to work? But they can't wait up to a moment like for now. Then they tell us now they are the people, they are the saviors after passing a heavy burden. Bernard, remember this budget, this first Kenya Kwanza budget was rejected by all private sectors. I think you passed through all the memoranda rejected this budget. And when you try to raise voice against it, they could term you as an azimio and you should not speak about it. I remember Kwame Owino, likes of Kwame Owino, they try to advise MPs. Call even your area MP. Maybe if he voted for that bill, ask him today the conversation. He knows nothing about it. So these are the people we cannot believe that MPs went there. Now it is 1 year. They are realizing that the ground is. It is like, when you are doing something, you have to do a prediction. If I do this, this thing will happen. But it seems that these are kind of people wanafanya tu kitu in the sake of doing it. They don't know what they say today. They don't care if tomorrow we will have a day or tomorrow world ends today. So piece of Kenya Kwanza, all of them are just like nothing, like the Babu dwarf, educational dwarfs, like what Babu have been telling us. Now it is true because you can't tell me that with the seniority in some of the leaders in Kenya Kwanza, the one I know, some of them are 4 terms, 2 terms, 3 terms members of parliament, that they were just following, passing this blindly. They should tell us who are they passing this on behalf of? How are they passing it on behalf of the people who voted for him? Or they were passing this thing to please the president, or they were passing such bills to punish some people. And who are those people? And they should give us the name of those people. And they should even write for us the name of those people that we thought we are going to punish this and this and this, Bernard Eric Kayaga and ABCD. So it is not working for them, it's working against us. So we need to do something. That is what they should do, rather than dismiss everybody, dismiss experts, dismiss, and then you threaten investors. People like Rai, when they try to tell you it is this way, hii kitu inatufinya, you threaten them with death. If not death, you tell them to go away, they will go away. That's how investors work. They have nothing. You remember we chased Sport Pesa here back at home. He went to Tanzania, they worked there. When the time was good for them, they are in Kenya, but the more investment they have in Tanzania is more. Yet the CEO of that company is a member of parliament of Kasarani in Kenyan parliament. And nobody has ever even discussed that. And we are here. It's going to be hard on them.
Okay, so thank you, Banayaga, for that. We really are in a very, very trying place. Uh, Having an incompetent person in the driver's seat and hoping that the journey is going to be smooth. I think Kenyans have had their treat, and they need to kind of style up and begin to realize that what they are dealing with is actually a fraud. That's the only description I can give. Well, there is a video I'm preparing for what happened at the airport, but I want you to look at these two captions. Very interesting times to be alive in this great country. Okay, there is this caption here about the new passport charges. A 34 page to cost 7,500 from 4,500. That is 50 page to cost. Okay, then the 50 page to cost 9,500 from 6,000. That is 60, and the 66 page to cost 12,500 from 7,500. Now look at that. Those what kind of percentages are those? That the revising of those costs are, in my opinion, abnormal. How do you jump from 4,000 to 7,000, from 6,000 to 9,000, and then from what is this? Okay, from 7,000 to 12,000. Even if you're looking for money, is that how to look for it? On the other hand, this is the most shocking one. This is from the Kenya Gazette, which I think is going to form a basis of our talk later. But look at this. This one indicates that citizenship was automatic by reason of you being born of Kenyan parents from whatever country you are born. But now there is an issue with the current arrangement, whereby now it is going to cost you for you to bring back your child from wherever you went. It's going to cost you, and it's not going to cost you something small. The children of Kenyan citizens born outside of Kenya, issuance, okay, they will cost 500,000 to 1 million, okay, for them to get their citizenship and, of course, be fully acknowledged as Kenyans. You will need to cost 500,000 for your child to be recognized as a Kenyan, even when he's born of Kenyan parents from outside this country. What wisdom is this? The people asked concerning Jesus Christ. This one for William Ruto. What kind of madness is this? And so, if my child is born in the US and he obtains a citizenship for free, okay, why should I bring the child back to Kenya and pay 500,000 or 1 million in order for the child to get Kenyan citizenship? Si akae tu huko kula amekubalika. Why should you go to a place where you've been rejected? Ayaga, you're there. You can unmute. I hope you got the gist of the story.
I can hear you but sijui ni mbona sauti yako inakatika katika pande yangu, maybe ni my net has a problem.
No, I can get you
So
clearly.
I can't get your questions clearly.
There are two things here. One, the revised cost of passports. The 34-page
Yeah.
of passport has been moved from 4,500 to 7,500. The 50-page has moved from 6,000 to 9,500. And the 66-page has been moved from 7,500 to 12,500. But that is not the real news. The real news is here on the Kenya Gazette that children born of Kenyan parents outside this country will no longer enjoy the automatic Kenyan citizenship. They will need to pay $500,000 to 1 million in order for them to be officially recognized as Kenyan citizens. Umepata hiyo? Unmute.
Okay. I've just seen that news, and it is very unfortunate, very very unfortunate. But anybody who is disparate can do anything. Yeah, these are the disparate attempt by the current regime to actually collect tax. I don't know why these people are obsessed with the tax collection. It is about collecting tax, and at the same time they are still borrowing, because they told us we will be paying tax so that it will reduce the borrowing. The borrowing is in a high rate, the taxation is moving everywhere. So you watch even what happened today at EKA, the luggage problem, ABC. So I think these are the last kick of a dying horse. It is high time. Like I told you, that nation of address tomorrow, I think the president will call on the predecessor saying, my brother, we had an election and that was politics. I said this, I said that. Please forgive me. My brother Raila Odinga, maybe I took what belongs to you. And I now think, reading the politics, I now think that that Uhuru Kenyatta never loved Raila Odinga, because if Uhuru Kenyatta was a prophet and he foresaw and already foresees the current political situation maybe 2 3 years ago, he never loved Raila Odinga. And I can now confirm it is true, he loved William Ruto. But it is only the problem that William Ruto was too anxious that he never listened for the body language, the unspoken language, and the language that the Kenyatta was speaking at that time. He was trying to tell him, my friend, we are going to a ditch. We are going to fall. Sit back, relax. Don't go. Let this old man go there. Then we blame him with these people and do have that to make a very good politics for about 10 to 15 years to come, or 20, so that we can rule these people peacefully. And remember the politics of the likes of Mradi, people who are sitting with Uhuru Kenyatta for very long time, that let us make Raila Odinga a one-term president. That one-term president, that was a warning, because everybody loves power. Raila Odinga is young. Biden is older than Raila Odinga, and Biden is going for, he want another term in the United States. Yeah, Museveni wants another term. He's old. He's almost the age of Raila Odinga. Paul Biya also want another term in Cameroon. These are people who are older than Raila Odinga. That alone tells you that there was something that was going on, that they want somebody to be a president of this short term, maybe in a period between 2022 to 2027, then blame that man. So Uhuru looked around. He said, no, I cannot go for my friends. I cannot go for people I love. I don't want Kenyans to hate the person I love. I don't want Kenyans to maybe have a problem with a friend of mine. So let me go for my enemy. And he went to his enemy directly without informing his friends. It was upon his friends to read his body language. But as usual, when the knowledge is above wisdom, you fall in a ditch. So let them wajikarange wenyewe. I think Raila Odinga is a very old man. Angechukua hiyo presidency for 5 years, people could have blamed him. Angekuwa na muda mingi sana ya kuishi ama ya kufanya politics after that. Angeenda tu kama Moi, as Kibakis of this world, sit down somewhere in Bondo, disappeared, you talk, but younger politician wangekuwa na sababu mzuri sana ya kumpiga after that. But being that Uhuru foresee or he predicted these things, he revealed for his friends, but his friends never listened for him. Now, this make a question that I think we should actually one day speak about in this program, that did Uhuru actually love Raila Odinga? Or he just preferred Raila Odinga to have a problem instead of Ruto? And did Ruto listen to his friend Uhuru Kenyatta on his choice about Raila Odinga? Because if you are an economic man, you foresee. In economic, there is something we call foresee. Eh? You predict that the patterns of economy should move this way and this way. And a good interpreter should tell you in the next 6 months, our economy graph will be going up or down, or it will be flat. So that also brings to another third question. Is Ruto a hearsay of politics, or did he actually understand the economy as the way people thought? So many questions that will be hanging around unanswered. And I think the investigation should be done. There will be truth at the end of the tunnel. There will be truth. Why did Raila Odinga was now preferred by Uhuru Kenyatta, who has antagonized the Jaramogi's family since 1963? Did he really love Raila Odinga, or he just wanted Raila Odinga to take the presidency and fall in the pitch? But when Ruto insisted, he said, now have it, but don't blame me. What is his quietness about? Uhuru Kenyatta should actually come out and tell us the truth. Quietness is even bad for evil. Even the devil himself is afraid of too much quietness. Na ni kama yeye pia ameadvise ndugu yake huyu mkubwa, wewe pia enda unyamaze, shughulika tu na maisha yako, just keep quiet. Hii watu wanaenda, yeah? Because an enemy of your enemy could be your friend, and your friend is the one who can betray you. So between Uhuru and Ruto, who betray who? That is the question.
Uh, an interesting angle to look at the whole situation. But from the look of things, there is power grabbing, hoping that you have all answers to all the questions, and then only to find you don't have the answers, and you have already done the damage. You have reached a point of no return. You cannot return back the hands of the clock. Time is past, and you are clueless. You are stranded, and you don't know what to do, and probably you are too proud to ask for help. That's what I think Ruto finds himself in. From the look of the backdrop of events that led to the elections, Ruto wanted to get back to both Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and he's the one who played the fox over these issues. And from the look of things, even just before the announcing of the elections, when it was obvious that Raila Odinga has won the elections and they are setting up celebration at KICC, it was an afterthought to set up the queer celebration by Ruto. And from all indication, body language and signs were that Ruto was accepting defeat. The setup at KICC, I think, was a game changer in the sense that now the desperation of Ruto got top gear, where he now said, Liwe Liwalo, whatever it takes, I must turn this thing around. And that's when Chebukati disappeared, and then we surfaced with that madness. And for Uhuru and Raila, their relationship is historical. Historical in the sense that Raila is actually big brother to Uhuru. There are stories of Raila carrying Uhuru Kenyatta when he was a toddler. So sio story ya watu wamekutana wakakubaliana. In fact, the relationship between Uhuru and Ruto is more artificial than the relationship between Raila and Uhuru, because these people are childhood friends. They have grown together, or rather, one was a big brother of the other, so one looked up to another. So it was very easy for them to gel and work together in harmony, and that's how the handshake worked the magic to see all the development that took place. It was not a tug of war like what Ruto and Uhuru had from 2013 to 2017, and then, of course, 2017 to 2022. What I see playing here, there are two things. One, the economy was in a bad shape, yes. There was a blueprint on how to fix it with the Azimio administration. One was you remember that 7-year tax sabbatical being proposed by Kenya Kwanza? By Azimio. It was part of the incentives for the investors to flood into the country. And when they flood into the country, they will bring in the money. The taxes will not rise, but we will have higher collections of taxes because many Kenyans will be productive and will be producing. And so we'll be able to meet the obligations without having to make Kenyans suffer. Unfortunately, William Ruto did not have on how to deal with the economy. All he wanted was power. He grabbed the power, and now he has the power. But what to do with power to help Kenyans is not in his vocabulary. And so we are seeing somebody here who is guessworking his way into handling things that need practical solution for practical problems. Like, you will not talk about improving an economy when you have not put down policies and measures that will affect the turnaround of the economy. For example, the bottom-up thing. If William Ruto got into office and did what Equity Bank did, okay? When Equity Bank said the people who cannot bank in the big banks can now bank with us, they went for the small money. If William Ruto said everybody who are Mama Mbogas, Mkokoteni, and all that, those people are going to be given free loan or things like that, make sure that those businesses are booming, people are making money, it will translate into turning around the economy. But he is snatching money from the small ones, paying the big ones. The big ones are closing industries as they run away to other countries. So he is doing what cannot change the economy. It is that way. He's not addressing what can turn around the economy. He's just giving narratives and, of course, excuses. If I were William Ruto right now, I would shut down everything as far as government projects are concerned and concentrate on the basics. It is said into, what is it called? Piloting, okay? You see, when you are up in the sky there and the storm the going become tougher, as a pilot, you revert to the basics. You don't go to the secondary, you don't go to the tertiary, you revert to the basics. So for this economy to recover, we have to revert to the basics. What are the basics? How many Kenyans do we have? How many of them are working? How much are they making? How do we multiply this? Okay. We have over 10, let's say 10 million Kenyans who are not working. Can we get at least 5 million of this to add to these ones that are working? Can that help out the situation? That will solve the matter faster than this guesswork of let's remove this subsidy, let's return it, let's remove wherever the military from Kenya Meat Commission, let us return it. Let us remove the military from Nairobi, now they are considering to return it, and things like that. These are people who don't know what they are doing, and like this guy has put it very well, and I think we need to look at it keenly. This is the true picture of what we are faced with. A very honest question. Ukiangalia kwa, I hope you're seeing that. Hivi kwa kipole na kwa makini. Unaona kama Ruto anajua kitu anafanya. He doesn't. And his speeches end up on that podium. That's one thing I've noted. He gives flowery speeches, and those flowery speeches end on the podium. They don't have translation capability into practical policies that will help the situation. He goes to Strathmore College, he speaks what they want to hear. He goes to the members of parliament, he speaks what they want to hear. He goes to the wherever private sector, he speaks to them what they want to hear, and it's all grammar, it's all narratives. You wait for his State of the Nation address. It will be flowery and it will be full of lies. What we have accomplished, what we have said to accomplish, and what we are promising. There will be no remorseful William Ruto. There will be no repentant William Ruto, because William Ruto has no reverse gear. He's always forward going, even when he is wrong. And that is too dangerous for both the country, himself, and the future of this country. Now look at the controversy, the fallout, or rather the two press conferences. I'm still looking for the video. The press conference by Mutua, the press conference by Kipchumba Murkomen. Both of them at the airport. One is defending travelers. The other one is saying they should be harassed. One is defending tourism. The other one is saying is defending KRA. What's going on in this country? We are in a mess because the person leading the way is messed up, and we can't expect anything better from his backward way of working out things. All in all, Kenyans, let's engage and give your views. Give your views. What do you think about this? Because hapa mambo sioni yakiwa salama. Okay, Violet Wauna anasema this is the plain truth. I think eventually you have the answer. Okay? Haya, asante sana. Naomba tafadhali tuendelee kukaribishana, na kama wacha nifungue wale ambao mngependa kuingia studio, basi niwapatie link, mnaweza kuingia. Ayaga pia is having hiccups with the net. I think hawajafikiwa na 5G. They are in Kitale. Kitale inaonekana bado iko 3G or something like that. All in all, tumia hiyo link, ingia studio, ukaseme ya kwako kama una la kusema. Lakini hapa lazima tuambiane ukweli. As we anticipate the William Ruto address, it will be full of hot air, it will be full of nothing, and then of course no solution to what is happening. Now there is education crisis in January. There is God, the trouble in this country is enormous. And the person you're looking up to solve it is clueless. He's rudderless. He has no idea on what is on his shoulders and what he needs to do. And so let us do what we must do. Yes, Ubuntu, we have already addressed that. The passport has been revised, and is being revised with madness. Okay, I would just call that madness, because you don't change. Government things are supposed to be not, one, to be commercial. Secondly, they are supposed to be having reasonable changes. You cannot change the replacement of ID from 100 shillings to 2,000 shillings, except the madness running in you is beyond repair. Okay? Then you want to revise the passport from 4,500 to 7,500. You want to move from 6,000 to 9,500. You move it from 7,500 to 12,500. What are you looking for? Yeah? Things are supposed to be revised in moderate. Kama wangeongeza 1,000, that will be reasonable. But you are whooping 3,000. This is crazy. Another place is 5,000. You can't change prices like this, except you are now accepting the Gachagua analogy. Ili kampuni na shareholders wamedemand kwamba wa revise prices, na prices lazima zipande juu kwa sababu serikali inafanya biashara. So serikali inafanya biashara na wananchi ama inafanya biashara na nani? Kwa nini itwe serikali kama inataka kufanya biashara na wananchi? Ifunge kuwa serikali, tujue it's a private company. We are dealing with a private company that is giving us their service, and then we are paying for those services. But if you want to be government, you need to carry yourself as one. You should not be pleasing Kenyans. You are taxing them exorbitantly, then you can't offer them any reasonable service. So what is the use for me to get the passport from you? Okay? We should now look for alternatives, way of getting passports. We should get universal passport, so that we work out with this. Hey, okay, let me not talk too much on the same. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's be on the forefront as we continue inviting each other. Tumia your link, ingia studio, ukaseme ya kwako. Ningependa tu ukawe mstari wa mbele ya kuambiana ukweli, wa Kenya wajue ni nini kinachoendelea na kipi ambacho lazima tukiangalie kwa kina. Okay, kwa kukumbusha tu maonyo ambayo tulipewa, ambayo Wakenya wengi labda hawakuyasikia. Let me just run this again. It's an old video. You will see it and like it or hate it. But
Asante sana mzee, karibu sana.
Alikula muko wapi? Simunalia hakuna ukali. Nani alikula masto? Your Excellency sir, kwa heshima yote na mother na waheshimiwa walioko hapa na kila mtu, karibuni wananchi. Azimio. Kwa majina naitwa Patricia Pwai, natoka bande wa Siwa. Nimeokoka. Neno la Mungu inani sukuma kila siku. Kwa 24 hours Mungu ni mlinzi wangu. Mnasikia? Wengi wasingisho mnajua mimi ni mzee, sitaki uongo. Huyu kijana tangu 1992 aliunda pesa bandia. Kabla ya hapo, wakati alikuwa mtoto namna hii 1973-74, wakati akisoma banda la Ziwa anaitwa Gerote, alikuwa mwizi sugu ya raba na kalamu. Ya tatu, kama ilikuwa bana baba 1995 serikali ya Moi Kanu ilikuwa imeanguka. Kweli uongo baba? Baba aliokoa. Inji ilikuwa imekataliwa na IMF na World Bank kwa ajili ya pesa ya huyu kijana aliiba. Huyu kijana mimi ni Mnandi asili. Hawa ni mji wa Kale na kabila yote wa Kenya wako hapa. Na mimi nataka hakikishia baba leo na dunia mzima ya kwamba hata president yetu mtukufu Rais Kenyatta na mama yake Ngina ya kwamba wazee wa Kinandi hawajui Ruto alitoka wapi.
Challenge this one. Challenge this one. Challenge this one. Challenge this one.
Your Excellency sir, Ruto abana Mnandi, musikie leo ninapozungumza hapa, ameingiza watoto wetu kina Henry Rotich alisoma Harvard University kwa masaibu ile abana onekana. Tigiria hapa ya Henry Rotich, Minister wa Finance, imetubwa kwa rubbish pit. Ajulikani alisoma kwa ajili alitumia kuiba pesa ya inji. Na nyinyi wananchi watukufu wa Kenya, vijana kwa kina mama, mjihatari jameni, msilale nyumba ya muwauni.
Challenge.
Nyumba ni kwa baba na mama peke yake, mzingie nyumba ya wauni. Chuzi hata mbeleni akiwa mtoto yule baba alimutigilia, alimuchapa, alipiga baba yake. Baba amepiga kina waheshimiwa marehemu Jasire. Chuzi naita Eugene mama alipoenda Ulaya anatangaza mwili ya mama yule alitusaa. Mwili wa mama labda mwenda wasimu waseme au mnyama yule amezungumuza msituni, sio mtu yuko ajili tumamu nasema mama. Kweli uongo? Baba, nataka ambia wewe ya kwamba kigeti ni yako. Baba yako alisema 62 Kenyatta tosha. Chuzi wewe uliona msukosuko, Kanu imetunyanyaza, ukasema Kibaki tosha. Sasa jameni, Uhuru mwenyewe amesema Raila tosha. Sisi kwa inji hii tangu Kenyatta achukue usukani 2013 hatujasikia mtu amepotea amenyongwa na Kenyatta. Hatujamwaga tamu. Chameni, huyu kijana anapiga kibua. Huyu mama kijana kweli anapiga kibua. Anatakia nini nyinyi? 2017 akasema, akazunguka North Rift na makansela na masenators na magovernors wa North Rift. Akasema musipande mahindi. Alisema musipande mahindi, panda obakato. Alisema mulifanya agreement na serikali ndio mupande mahindi. Ni ajabu zaidi. Yeye analia, anasema ati yako na hasira, watu iko na njaa, iko na tabu, na yeye ni tabu number 1. Yeah. Chuzi Mombasa. Yeye ni sikwota kutoka Wasingishu, sikwota bande wa Elgeyo Marakwet hapo, shamba ya Jagir, sikwota bande wa Noro, shamba ya yule vice president wa tatu, sikwota bande wa Laikipia, hapo sikwota bande wa Taita Taveta. Sasa atasoli tabu yenu au yeye sikwota kwanza. Nani sikwota number 1? Nani sikwota number 1? Ataweza kusaidia nyinyi? Atawasaidia kweli? Mimi ni mzee wa mwaka 81. Karibu nasema najua kutoka bahali. Wakati nililia 2015 nikasema ya kwamba seneta saba ukumbi wa Eldoret. Nilisema na sababu mnasikia, niliona vile huyu kijana anapopeleka inchi, anapotanganya president, mpaka sasa inchi tuko namna hii. Poleni wananchi, mutulie, wale watakuja kuwasaidia ni baba na mama, hakuna mwingine. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is on the campaign trail towards the 2022 general election. Lakini huyo mzee na hekima yake, naona hapa Ubuntu amebarikiwa sana na hekima ya mzee, anasema anafanana na babake. Basi tunashukuru. But listening to the old man, you begin to hear what others were afraid to talk about and what others were afraid to pinpoint. And listening to that video, you see clearly everything that was said is now in practical manifestation. It's like wazee waliona hii mambo vizuri sana na wakajua hii safari hakuna mahali inaenda ikienda hivi. And so you will notice that the warnings they gave, the whatever notices, the red flags they lifted are now everywhere. Kukula masto, wizi kila mahali, uchumi kusorota, na kila kitu kutofanya kazi. All of that is coming out clearly, and you can now see by experience. And that is why it is important for us as young people to learn from the experienced. If only we listened to the counsel of the elders and understood what is at stake at that point in time, the country was in a critical state. You don't hand your patient who is in a critical condition to an amateur. And I'm not saying anything new. We've been saying this all along. We said this even before the elections. William Ruto is an amateur. He is not capable of handling a patient who is in a critical condition. It was an error. It was a big mistake to hand the country to somebody who is incompetent, an amateur, and a guest worker, the person who has no idea on what to do to fix what is wrong. I gave a story here some time back about an old doctor, and I have a great respect for the elderly doctors because, of course, I grew up being attended to them. And those days, we didn't have all these complications people are bringing to us. You went to hospital, explain yourself to the doctor gave you prescription. It was not testing for everything. Nowadays, you explain something small, they say they want your blood, they want your saliva, they want your urine, they want your stool, and all that. Nobody knows what they are doing. Okay? But all the doctors, experienced doctors, the moment you explain yourself, they are able to tell this is what is wrong. Now, there was this young man in, I think, Mbale. Yes, it was in Mbale, Vihiga County. There was this young man who was playing around. There was, I think, a party. And then the young man started to play around with sodas. So he mixed different sodas just to create his own flavor. And he was drinking. So he mixed Fanta, Crest, Coca-Cola, and then these other varieties, and then drank them. And something happened. As soon as he drank, his stomach began to swell. Okay, his stomach began to swell like that of football. And now the people in the party now got, shaken. This is a serious case. So they carry him quickly to the hospital to find a solution. And as soon as the young man was dying. He's lying there on the floor, crying and all that. Then, fortunately, okay, an elderly doctor from the place just came out, and he saw the young man lying on the floor, and he was told what happened. And the old doctor just got this clinical knife, okay, then pierced somewhere at the stomach, okay, and all the gas went out, and the young man revived. Now, it was what I'm saying is, if the young man had gone through the procedure of getting admission, then be booked in the theater, and then in the process get the theater fee and all that, he would have died still registering. But this old, experienced doctor knew that there is no time for this. If any minute is lost, the young man will lose his life. So what happened? He knew what to do. He just, without anesthesia, without pain, he just pierced the place, pop, and the gas left, and the young man survived. That's what I'm saying. When somebody is in a critical condition, you don't hand him to amateur. You need experienced hands. The handing over the country to William Ruto was a huge, huge blunder. A huge blunder. And this is why we are where we are. And if we don't recover this country in good time, we should just begin to forget it. That's all I can say for now. And it's not just vilifying. He has proved, okay? He has proved. Every fear we talked about, everything we said William Ruto presidency will bring, it has brought, okay? Collapse. The remaining thing to collapse is counties, okay? And from the look of things, by next year, if nothing is done, there will be the shutting down of counties, just like the withdrawal of secondary school, wherever free secondary school education. It began with petrol subsidy. It went to kazi mtaani. It went to pesa wazee, and now is withdrawing everything. The next thing will say it is too expensive to run 47 governments. We want to collapse them. We go back to one government, and then, of course, the government will do everything that the county government has been doing. That is the path that William Ruto and team are taking this country to. And so let's not fool ourselves to think that kuna hekima ingine ambayo inakuja itasaidia nchi hii. Tunahitaji mikono ya wale ambao wanafanya nini? Wana uzoefu wa kutosha wa kusuluhisha matatizo. In such a case, you don't play with amateurs. Look at the way Kibaki dealt with the economy when he inherited an economy that was negative. Okay, he did not put idiots in cabinet. He made sure that every person in each docket knows what they are doing and gave them free hand to do what they are required to do. He stopped the parastatal from the Harambes and public servants from participating in Harambes. And what happened? 2 years down the road, everything was working. Free primary education that was unimaginable. If you asked Moi if free primary education would work, he would tell you in 100 years is impossible. But what happened? In the first year, in the first day of Kibaki in office, free primary school education took off, and see what happens. And now, all those gains you have made with Kibaki, sustained by Uhuru, are all going to be lost because you have one person who doesn't know what he's doing, yet talking too much, and you think by his running his mouth, things are going to turn around. I don't think they are going to turn around as you suppose. We just have to make sure that we do what we are required to do to secure this country once and for all. We encourage you to subscribe to our backup channel, Sound Candy Talk Live. I've shared the link. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And if you have not liked the video, like the video. It's like Kayaga got into a crisis with the network. And on that note, we'll be closing this feed, and then we'll begin the other feed of the night discussion. I don't know where Mato is. Hiyo swala ya watoto, mnaturudishia watoto ama mnabaki nao kule mko, kwa sababu inaonekana Zakaya amesema mlipie. Okay, we'll be discussing that at length in the next feed. So unless otherwise, I want us to call it a day from there, then we'll switch into the other feed in the next 20 or so minutes. Thank you so much for being part and parcel of Sound Candy Talk. We are glad that you always choose us and give us audience, and of course, draw from our sharing here. We just want to appreciate you, and of course, encourage you to encourage more people to subscribe and follow our channel, Sound Candy Talk Live. And then, of course, we really want you to relate to us personally. So get in touch with us. Let us know what you think about what we are doing. And we believe that by reason of this conversation, something good is coming out of this. We will not let this country go to the dogs without us doing something. We can't let go Kenya without a fight. So let's be ready to fight until we recover our nation. Thank you so much. Let's meet again in a short while in the next episode of the Open Forum Political Discussion. God bless you. See you in a minute.